I'm gonna do my presentation on Prezi because PowerPoint would not open on my laptop. And the artist that I chose for my presentation is Anton Kiefer. Anton Kiefer was born into a Catholic home on March 8, 1945 in Germany. He lost his parents when he was young due to the Holocaust and was raised near the east bank of Rhine in the region of Black Forest. He was born about 7 weeks before the end of the Second War, and Kiefer got his name from a 19th century classical painter, Anton Feuerbach. At one point, before Kiefer decided to be an artist, he actually wanted to be an archbishop. Why? Because he just had all the knowledge and material, including attire, so he had his mindset to be an archbishop, but obviously he ended up being an artist. His wife and children. Kiefer had 2 wives. His first wife was never mentioned, but his second wife is actually Austrian, and they do have kids together. That marriage did not end or last that long either, because he decided to move to where he is now currently residing, which is south of France. Kiefer is a more private type of person. He does not like to talk about all that stuff, so he's very closed off about it. Okay. Education. Before even attending an art school, Kiefer actually went to grammar school and he even studied law. But in 1966 he decided art was his thing, so he enrolled in an art academy, Karlsruhe in Dusseldorf. There he was influenced by an artist named Peter Behr, and from then he continued to work with him for a bit, and then in 1970 he studied with an artist named Joseph Beu, who actually had more of an impact on him because he saw potential in Kiefer and encouraged him to be the very best that he can, and from then they worked on multiple art pieces together. In Kiefer's early work, before even becoming an artist, he started off as a photographer, and Kiefer has a series of photographs where he's dressed in paramilitary costume while mimicking the Nazi salute in different places. Kiefer's later artwork were based on German history and its culture, and what Kiefer emphasizes most throughout his work is during the period of the Holocaust. He does this because the Holocaust was the most traumatic event that happened in Germany, and by incorporating this historical moment, well, more like historical tragedy, he was able to show those who did not have to face the tragedy to see what those who did have to go through, and it just adds more empathy and sympathy to his work. And it's interesting because he adds his own background history. Okay, in this piece, this is to show how Mückelkorn affected Europe. Mückelkorn is a fungal disease that affected the cereal crop, causing ears to turn black. This led to famine and poisonous food. However, Mückelkorn was also used to help contraction during birth. Kiefer does this comparison to show how close life and death can be. Mückelkorn can either kill you or give birth to a new baby, and if you were to actually go to an art gallery and look at Kiefer's art piece, this piece, the objects that you see in the middle are actual 3D figures, and I think it's cool how he incorporates that because it adds dimension and it's more realistic. Okay, in this piece called Fur Rabbi Lo, I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, but yes, it's a picture of a scale. One side is filled with diamonds and the other is filled with flowers. This represents the heaven and earth theme, and it balances out between the two. And as Kiefer added the blue tone to his canvas, it adds peaceful, calming, soothing feel to it. But it symbolized the unborn life in the inset of how corresponding between the microchorism and macrochorism. Okay, in this piece, this canvas is called The March of Heath. Kiefer uses a variety of colors, however the colors are dark colors and earth tone. The center of the piece obviously is a road leading to the background, and it vanishes. It's the main object of the painting, and he does this to allow his viewers to come up with their own theory as to what the painting symbolizes, as where does this road lead to, and why are the colors so dark and gloomy. This, like I said before, it corresponds to the life or death, heaven and earth theme. Okay, and this sculpture is called Book with Wings, and the sculpture is made out of lead, and as you can see, the book is open to where it sprouts out to two majestic wings. But if you take notice, on one side the wing looks more grand and new, and the other is torn apart, a little beat up. The irony of the sculpture is it's a pair of wings, but since it's made out of lead, it's not gonna fly. And I like the sculpture because it represents the relationship between heaven and earth. Like, for heaven, the left side is more intact, more perfect, rather than the right side. The right side means earth because you go through a lot, you face a lot of hardship and stuff. So the comparison between the two is pretty awesome. And Anselm Kiefer is currently around 68 years old. He's still living in France, and he has not talked as much since 1993, but his artworks are still talked about. References.